Hi, I wanted to give you an example of a student portfolio that was completed by another student previously, so you had an idea of what it is that you're creating. You can see that she has a nice, probably 3-inch binder. Yours may not be that thick. This probably has more than I would like in it, but and then the first page, she has the table of contents. And that table of contents is listed on your Moodle page, so you should be able to find that there. And she has her professional qualifications. We're going to go back here for a second. You can see that under the first part you have professional qualifications, and then you have the individual qualifications. Those may be things that you individually are qualified to do, such as CPR. Any other certifications that you have, or training, if you have a diploma or a certificate, you can put that in here. This section is the most important part of your portfolio. This is the 6 outcomes for our program. And then you see references and recommendations, and then the final section is activities. So these are examples of activities. So if I look over here at the tabs, you can see that there's 5 major sections. She has 5 tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the third section, which I said is the one where your outcomes are listed, this is section 3, educational outcomes. You can see the way she did it is she put each individual outcome marked with a green sheet. You can use a smaller tab here if you'd prefer to do it that way. This student chose to do it, and of course you'll see these are in plastic sheets. So there's outcome 1, promoting child development and learning. In this one you will see examples of how she did specific activities. You'll notice that she has her graded items in here. I would not recommend that. If you have red marks or anything on your papers or grades, I would not put those in there. I would put clean copies in there, so hopefully you've corrected the mistakes and put a clean copy. In each one of these outcomes areas, I only need to see about 3 or 4 at the most. So yours will probably not be as thick as this one. Here's her second outcome, building family and community relationships. So these would be things like newsletters, parent interviews that you've done, some of the work that you did in the families and communities class, any case studies about families you might put in here. There's a parent newsletter that she did. There's her parent bulletin board. So if you've ever done a bulletin board, you can put that in here. The third section is observation assessment, observing, documenting, and assessing. Now, in the 1060 class, you completed a child observation portfolio. She took that information out and put that in here. So she has her assessment information here. If you don't want to put that, you can just bring that extra portfolio, and you don't have to put it back in here. You can just bring that extra portfolio if you would prefer, and that will totally take care of this area, this outcome number 3. If you have any other assessments of children, though, you certainly can put them in here, but she did all of hers in this one section. So the fourth one is teaching and learning, and you can see developmentally effective teaching and learning strategies. So these would be any of the lesson plans that you have created that have objectives and the materials that are required, anything where you have talked about where you've visited places and looked at the curriculum that they have, any other books that you've possibly made. In the next area, you have curriculum. You probably have or are taking 2060, which is early childhood curriculum. And in that class, you created some thematic units. And there she's showing all of her thematic units. Any other lesson plans from any other classes like school age where you created some lesson plans or any curriculum type things? And then the last area, there's a theme that she did. Outcome number 6 is becoming a professional. For any of the practicum that you did, if you have a final reflection paper, I want that to go in this area. If you have an evaluation by any teacher, I'd like to have it in this area. So any practicum evaluation goes in this area. If you've attended any professional organizations, or if you've done any research on any professional organizations, it can go in this section. So that's the middle section, and that's the 6 outcomes, which are it's the most important part of your curriculum, or excuse me, of your portfolio. And then she does have a few letters of recommendation. And you can ask anybody that you've worked for, anybody you've done a practicum for, any instructors to write you letters of recommendation. She has in her last section here activity examples. So if you have a video of yourself teaching, you can put that video disc in here. She has a lot of photos of field trips. She was actually teaching at the time. Field trips, activities that she did with children. This is where she was planting seeds. So photos of things are good. If you don't want to bring a book, you can take a photo of it, or if you've made a puppet, those can all be in here. She has lots of things, bulletin boards, classroom newsletters, and at the end she did include a book that she had created. So some of you might have some things from Expressive Arts that you would like to include. So that is an example of a portfolio. And so I hope this helps you to understand a little bit more about it. As I've said, this one probably has too many items in that middle section where you have your, where you meet the outcomes, this middle section right here with the 6 outcomes. I only need about 3 or 4 examples in each area. And just to recall, on that third one, observing, documenting, and assessing, just bring in your child observation portfolio from the class that you took, that is ECED 1060. So please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.